The laughter hit me harder than any slap that IT rolled down the long dinner table, loud and sharp, bouncing off the marble walls of that fancy restaurant. And at the center of it all sat my daughter's husband, Adam. Perfect hair, polished suit, a glass of overpriced wine in his hand, and that smug smile he wore like a crown. "Come on, George," he said loudly enough for the entire restaurant to hear. "You really think people still wear jackets like that? Looks like you walked straight out of a thrift store." His friends laughed. His business partners chuckled politely. Even the waiters seemed unsure where to look. But the person whose reaction mattered most, my daughter Emily, kept her eyes glued to her plate. That cut deeper than Adam's words. I forced a smile. "Maybe it's old-fashioned," I said quietly. "But this jacket has been with me through a lot, including raising the woman sitting right next to you." Adam smirked, swirling his wine. "Yeah? Well, times change. Maybe you should try to keep up, old man." More laughter. My hands clenched under the table. Not from shame, but from anger that I worked 40 years as a carpenter, that I built homes with my hands, that I gave my daughter everything I never had. And now this man, this spoiled man, whose wealth came from his father's company, sat there mocking me like I was some nobody. But I wouldn't break, I wouldn't give him the satisfaction, so I smiled. "Oh, you're right, Adam. I am old-fashioned. I suppose that means I value respect more than appearances." He raised his glass mockingly. "To appearances." Dinner dragged on painfully. Adam bragged endlessly. Stocks, investments, his brilliant strategies. Then he insulted the one thing I took pride in. "Working with your hands?" he scoffed. "People did that before they learned to be smart." My daughter stayed silent. When the bill finally came, Adam made a grand show of waving it over. "Don't worry, I'll handle it," he said loudly. "Wouldn't want George to think we're splitting it." Laughter again. That was it. I stood up slowly. "Thank you, Adam," I said calmly. "But I insist. Let me pay my share." He chuckled. "Oh, please. You don't have to," I said. I interrupted. "I'll pay my share." The table went quiet. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a folded envelope. Adam raised an eyebrow. "What's that? A coupon?" He sneered. I ignored him and handed it to Emily. Her eyes widened as soon as she looked inside. "It was a property deed. For your new house," I said gently. "Fully paid off. I wanted to give it to you both tonight." Emily gasped. "Dad, you?" Adam snatched the deed from her hands. "You bought us a house? Really?" He laughed. "Didn't think a carpenter could afford something like this." I looked directly into his eyes. "I couldn't afford it with cash." I paused. "I built it." Silence. "You built it?" Emily whispered. "Yes," I said. "Brick by brick. Just like the home you grew up in." I reached out and calmly took the deed back. Adam sputtered. "Wait, what are you doing?" I smiled coldly. "Changing my mind." Emily's eyes filled with panic. "Dad, please." "No," I said firmly, looking at her husband. "Respect doesn't come with money. It's earned." I tapped the deed. "And neither of you is ready for a gift like this." Adam's face turned red. "You can't just take it back." "It's still in my name," I replied, slipping the envelope into my jacket. "So yes, I can." He stood up angrily. "You think you can embarrass me like this?" I leaned in, my voice low. "Embarrass you, son? You did that all by yourself." I turned to the waiter. "Check, please. For my meal only." No one moved. No one spoke. I left the table with my head high. Outside, the night was cold and sharp. I walked toward my old truck, feeling heavy, but strangely proud. Then I heard footsteps. "Dad, wait!" Emily ran out, breathless. "I'm so sorry," she cried. "I should have said something." He was out of line. I faced her. "Why didn't you?" She looked down. "I thought keeping peace was more important, but watching you walk away, I realized something. You always stood up for me." Her voice cracked. "And I didn't stand up for you." My anger faded. "You married a man who thinks respect is weakness, Emily. That's not peace. That's surrender." She wiped her tears. "You're right. And I'm done surrendering." I looked at her, really looked at her, and handed the envelope back. "This house will still be yours someday," I said softly. "But not while he decides everything." My phone rang. It was Emily. "Dad," she said, her voice steadier than I'd heard in years. "I left him." My breath caught. He didn't like it when I stood up for myself. But I couldn't live like that anymore. My chest swelled with pride. "I've been working again," she continued. And I've been looking at that house you built. She took a shaky breath. I want to move in. Just me and Lily. I closed my eyes, tears burning. It's all yours, sweetheart. The house of respect. A week later, I drove to the house. White fence, fresh garden, sun pouring through bright windows. Emily stood at the door with Lily in her arms. When I stepped out of my truck, Lily ran to me shouting, "Grandpa!" I lifted her up and whispered, "See this house, kiddo? Your grandpa built it." She grinned. "It's perfect." And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. Respect isn't demanded. It isn't bought. It isn't loud. It's built quietly, steadily, brick by brick, just like a home. And that night, I realized I hadn't just built a house. I'd built my family again, stronger than ever,